Yes, this is an anime.
Okay.
You want to confess to someone, but you're afraid of the answer? I wouldn't say that's cringy, that's just fear and anxiety. Are you afraid of the answer no matter what the answer is? Or are you afraid of the answer if it's rejection? Oh god. Just rejection. Well, I mean, rejection and then not asking both give the same result, so let's think of it that way. Hello, lychee plants in the YouTube chat. Hi! I'm lost. My favorite anime is Dragon Ball. Jeremy has obsessive compulsive disorder and a plethora of other issues. 99% of people will get over it. What is up, lychee plant? How's it going? See, formerly known as YouTube chatter, iColdStone is, he's a gamer. So, you have to keep this in mind. What are you? You're a gamer? I'd give up gaming for her? Oh shit. Is this IRL or on the internet? IRL? Your current transitional status has no indication on whether or not you're trans? Lychee plant? Hopefully that answers your question. I know you like the back of my hand. You bet. Wait. What? Did I accidentally click the same fucking level? Oh my god. Oh my god. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Good luck, I Coldstone.
No problem.
When did this happen? I did the first run last week. Well, the first run. I did one like playthrough like a few years ago, and then I did a run last week, and now I'm doing one here. God damn, these fucking load times. US. I'll read your shit in a second here, Lychee. Fuck. I really don't like the weapon switch meme. Can you turn that off? Weapon change? No? Fuck that shit. That really, like, destroys the run. Oh my god. Okay. This should be much easier now. Like, the way that would work is, like, every time you pick up a weapon, it would switch to that weapon. Because, like, everything, I guess, is tagged in the same tier. So if, like, you have an Uzi, and then you pick up a shotgun, it'll switch to the shotgun. And if you have a shotgun and you pick up an Uzi, it'll switch to the fucking Uzi. It's like every time you walk over a corpse, it would just, like, pick up a new weapon. But this should be much easier now. Okay, cool. Lychee plant, most people are stupid. Stupid and or ignorant. And when it comes to transgender issues, I would say a significant majority of people are just straight up mean. The whole effort meme, like, oh, you're not putting in enough effort. That's the gatekeeping terminology that people use against everyone. Like, for example, you can say what you want about how I look, right? But, like, every hate forum that has ever mentioned me says I'm a trans trender and that I put in no effort. Like, do you not have eyeballs? Like, hello? So? People just use that kind of terminology and speaking to just gatekeep people and say they're not valid, even when it makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Oh my god, fuck, I fell in the water. Easy. This is where I can save the most time. I like the bass. I'm gonna fucking die. I hope. Maybe I'll find it if I keep playing the game enough. Fuck. You fuck. God, I hate this level. Alright, cool. Hello, Mr. Husarski in D-Live. Thank you for the upvote.
Roger, sir.
Yeah, lychee plant people are just garbage, pretty much. That's pretty much the main reason why I want to stop being an edgelord, is just because, like, there's so many genuinely garbage people. Like, for someone who's not genuinely garbage to just pretend to, like, joke about being genuinely garbage, I feel like that just does way more harm than good. I love this music. This is my jam. Being an edgelord with your friends who know that you're just being funny and epic is different than doing so in, like, to, like, new people that you've never seen before. And then, like, doing shit where, like, you judge people and all that kind of stuff. Like, you just, like this meme where people, like, post a picture of someone and then, like, a group of people pick apart their physical appearance. It's like, alright, this guy's nose is too big. Oh, man, they're, like, bad at shaving. You know, like, oh, man, look at that little pimple. Like, there's really no reason to do that. It's just fucking picking on someone for the sake of picking on them. I much prefer attacking someone's identity and traits and how they are. Like, I was gonna say act, and then I said are, and then it was like super fucking like British or whatever the fuck that was. Christ almighty. I do not want to be mistaken for whatever the fuck that was. But yeah. you know what I'm trying to say? The point is there's way too much negativity in the world. There's no point to contribute to it. IMO. I'd rather be positive and assist people than be negative and just do it for the lulz. Because really, like, if you're making people depressed or just uncomfortable in significant fashions for to lulz, like, I mean, like, you're not really gaining much. Like, yeah, you're gonna laugh at this person, like, right now, and then, like, you're gonna forget they exist, and then, like, that's gonna be the end of the conversation. Meanwhile, like, if you make fun of them, like, if, say, they're trans and you, like, make fun of their jawline or something, like, yeah, that's a comment you make once, and then you're done, and then you forget about that person forever, but then, like, every time they look in the mirror, that's exacerbated. Like, they're gonna be like, man, they were right, you know, like, fuck me, and that's just gonna contribute to, like, such a hostile, negative environment for them personally. It's just no reason to do that shit. And you'll have, like, edgelords that go like, oh, it's just a fact, like, your jawline's, like, really masculine. Well, like, okay, like, what do you, like, what is the point in saying that? One meme where I fucking despise when people, like, try to pick apart every masculine trait from trans people, trans women, I guess, in this context. And then it's like, you can point to, like, a cis woman that looks almost exactly like that. So, like, it's just like, what is the point in what you're saying? Like, I don't know, picking apart people's physical appearances is just kind of silly. Especially when it comes to shit they can't control. One reason I was so hesitant on abandoning the fat-shaming narrative is because I was under the assumption, which I still kind of believe, that people can control their weight, but I'm more sympathetic and empathetic toward what goes into being, you know, big. And I really, like, I spent a lot of time thinking about this, and really one of the main issues is just poor upbringing and poor mental health that can, like, be contributed to that, as well as social status. Like, if you can't afford really good food, chances are you're gonna be, like, going to McDonald's and eating fucking burgers pretty much as possible because they're like $1, and that's just not healthy. And if you're poor, like, chances are you're gonna be fucking depressed, and if you're fucking depressed, like, what? It's just, you know, there's no point. But this mostly goes to, like, people you don't know. Like, if you and a buddy are, like, you know, like, fine with calling each other mean names, like, you know, okay. There's no point in intervening there. But these people that, like, oh, let's just post a picture of a random person and make fun of them. It's just like, what are you doing? But that's not to say that people can't genuinely be funny looking. Like, funny looking people exist, and that's undeniable fact. Like, if you're gonna see someone with, like, a 1920s, like, style curled mustache, like, yeah, that's fucking funny. Like, it's not that you can't laugh at people, per se. Although, I would assume if people have that kind of mustache, they're, like, going for that aesthetic. Well, the same can be said about, like, people with, like, certain kinds of hair that could be funny. I don't know. I'm more lenient on judging people and laughing at people if it's, like, something they choose to do. Like, meme hair, in particular. Clothing style. That kind of stuff. Hello, Irony. I still don't know how to pronounce your name. Also, nice death. As well as facial expressions. I think you can make fun of facial expressions pretty well. What about your hair? I think it's stupid. Makes you look like a weirdo. IMO? Good thing Baggles isn't here. Baggles would be having a meltdown right now if he heard this. Holy fuck. Baggles is in fact bald, yeah? Oh, well, the term edgelord, I would say it used to mean that. Voy, but honestly, like, one thing that, like, I learned over being a part of edgelord communities is that it used to be about, like, dark humor, and then, like, really with the current political climates, it shifted way more into just straight bullying. Especially, like, with the politicization of transgender issues of recent, like, in the last 2 years especially. Like, that kind of shit has escalated edgelord into, like, just being bullies. Like, a lot of people that I know and knew from, like, a long time ago, back when I, like, first started being friends with them, it wasn't about being bullies and, like, attacking people. It was just about, like, making funny jokes. Like you said. And then, like, once you realize that, like, it's just, you've turned into someone that's just, like, bullying people, it's hard to, like, really become self-aware of that. And then you realize, like, it's not bullying people to be epic and funny, it's like, I'm bullying these people because they're different. And it's just like, I don't want to be a part of that anymore. Like, if you want to say being an edgelord is dark humor, I love dark humor. And that's not going to change. Like, I think school shooter jokes, they definitely have a time and place. I think dead baby jokes, definitely a time and place. Abortion jokes, definitely a time and place. I need a hairstyle change. There you go, 514. I don't know. I noticed this, and especially when doing the retrospecting that I've done over the past, like 6 months or so. I just, you know, it's because it's easy to get carried away. Like, because if your whole friend group is based around dark humor, and then it's just a slow and very subtle change into just bullying people, it's hard to like pick that up until like you just do. And once you realize that, it's easy to like go back and then understand the turning point. I would say the turning point from dark humor over to just bullying for a lot of people that I know and my old friend groups, it was really like 2016, 2015 maybe, was where you could maybe pinpoint like where the shift started. And by that point, like, you know, you're in these groups, you're entrenched in a style. And if you're a streamer, like with me, I was a streamer. So like if you're a streamer and you're known for a certain kind of thing and people want to watch you for a certain kind of thing, you feel compelled to behave in a certain kind of way. And it's not necessarily like you feel trapped, because I wouldn't necessarily, I felt trapped in a certain style until like maybe recently. But it becomes to a point where like you just don't think about it. And when you don't think about it, that's dangerous, because like you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing, and you just like think it's okay. How do you guys like my little woke essay? Is this enjoyable? Are you enjoying? Reminder, I'm smarter than most people. Suicide jokes? Did I fucking joke about suicide all the time? this is like, again, the main reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Don't kill me, don't kill me. Fuck this game. Okay, Brainiac. Fucking Brainiac. Having a brain blast, to be honest. I think hive minds really generate that kind of negativity. And hive minds, I'm always kind of against hive minds. Which is why I'm pro free speech, as much as people might disagree with that. Because when people get entrenched in one thought kind of bubble, especially if it's a negative one, or at least has like that kind of like negative potential, if you're just stuck in that bubble, you're gonna become a fucked up idiot. Like I was and many people I know. I think bubbles are bad. I think having an option of being in a bubble is good, but not being able to be exposed to other, like, opposing ideas is definitely very bad. But then, like, when you have people that are, like, free speech Nazis about it, they go like, oh, you should never censor anyone no matter what. Like, even when it comes to, like, people, like, speaking in favor of, like, killing people and fucking, like, oh yeah, all trannies should die, blah blah blah, like, that kind of shit. Like, yeah, that's not free speech. That has nothing to do with free speech. Like, you're just an asshole. Like, go fuck yourself. I'm gonna try to, like, just actually speedrun this. This is not going well. I'm not gonna try to actually speedrun this. I just wish it was easier to, like, convince people. Especially people like Bagels, like the free speech absolutists. That, like, it's just not a good thing to do. Like, it's not a good hill to die on. It's just selfish and stupid. Because really, when it comes to, like, when you know that your behavior can hurt people, and you want to defend, like, vehemently your right to do that behavior, it's just selfish. Like, you don't want to, like, have any sort of limitation in favor of other people being comfortably or living comfortably. Like, you just want to, like, you want the world to fit your needs, and that's fine if you're a private person, and if you're in, like, a private group, that's fine. I have no issues with that. Like, if you've got, like, a fucking little, like, clan of people that you hang out with on, like, Friday nights, and you just want to, like, be fucking, like, you know, do whatever the fuck you want, I have no issues with that. But me, when I'm a streamer, and people are constantly going to interact with me, like people I've never known before, and, like, my words are going to be scrutinized to the point where they have been, it's just, like, it's not something I want to do. I don't want to be a member of that kind of, like, tribe, especially. That's not necessarily, like, that's not a weakness. Like, it's, if anything, it's strength. To be able to, like, fight, like, learned behavior that you understand is incorrect, but, like, it's just, it's comfortable. And comfortable doesn't mean correct. Like, I don't know, it's just... The fact that, like, Bagels especially calls that weakness is, like, unbelievably ignorant. Where the fuck do I go? Did the level change? Or am I missing something? Oh no, this way. Like, unlearning behavior is very difficult. And even when it's like something is similar, like, to, like, a habit, like chewing your fingernails, because I used to, like, chew my fingernails. Well, not my fingernails, but my nail beds. And I still kind of do it. It might not be the best analogy, but I'll use it anyway. Like, unlearning a habit is definitely something that can be very difficult. And it can be as, like, something like food addiction. Like, I've had food addiction before. I'd say probably right now I'm having a little bit of a food addiction episode. And you can maybe say I'm swapping one vice for another in terms of other kind of things, but when you have some sort of thing that you're comfortable doing that you can, like, realize is destructive, but like you're just so used to doing it, it's so difficult to undo it. And mental addictions, like ideological addictions. Yeah, exactly, Skeleman. That was like what did it for me. But yeah, like ideological addictions, I think, are like the most toxic, because like you spend so much time thinking that what you're saying is like the correct and moral stance, which is like, and especially if you're in a bubble and you're in a hive that like constantly gives positive feedback and no criticism of any kind, like that shit's very destructive. Because you can't recognize that it's immediately destructive. Like if you have like a physical addiction, like, you know, biting your nails, like pulling your hair, or like eating your hair, or like food addiction, like you can immediately recognize that that's destructive. But when you're like ideologically addicted to something stupid like free speech, like you can't understand that that's immediately destructive, because like it's like people that don't recycle because they don't see the immediate like problem with it, or people that don't vote, which funny enough Baggles doesn't vote because he doesn't see the immediate like issue. Like it's like if you don't vote, it's not like the world is going to end tomorrow. It's just like it's a slow change that negatively impacts so many things. So when you openly harass people for their like physical looks in public and people are watching you do that, when you openly like spew like racism, bigotry of any kind, and people see that, it just kind of like, it might not like immediately hurt them, but it kind of like would normalize it to the extent where like, oh, people that are genuinely hateful might think, oh shit, okay, it's time to play now. And that's why you see like, especially in the modern political climate, that there's so many genuine like awful people. They're like, maybe it's because I was young or it wasn't like in the situation I am now, but I didn't see this kind of like very, very, very out and about bigotry, racism, transphobia, that like homophobia, especially since Trump has been elected. I feel like whenever like there's a Republican president, people are like more likely to just like, all right, it's cool, we can come out now, and then they all just like come out in droves. I feel like that's definitely like an actual thing that happens. So like when you create an environment that seems welcoming, even if it's not supposed to seem welcoming, like for me, I've always been very, very against racism, very, very against like bigotry of any kind. But like, even if you use just ironic humor like that all the time, like it just creates the kind of environment where that kind of stuff is normalized, and people can just use lol, it's ironic as a joke, or as like a way to just like defend their actions even if they're not actually ironic. Which is something that took me for a while to realize, but once I kind of realized that, it was pretty easy to like figure out how to just like, you know, this is not good, I shouldn't do this anymore. And that's not to say like any form of satire is not good. Like if you have like if you're doing like a stand-up comedy act, you know, with the like people always going in there are gonna know it's comedy, that's one thing. But I don't know. I could see how they would think that, and I can understand how someone would reach that conclusion. But that's why I think context is very important. Another problem with free speech Nazis is that people always cry context. Context is very important for analyzing a person. Now you can say a phrase is insert ick here, you know what I mean? Ick or ist. You can say any phrase is that, but to attack a person and say that person is any ick or ist, it requires context for sure. So when people call me racist because I like, you know, relied heavily on satire, like that's incorrect. You could say like my posts may be racist, I can understand that, but to call me racist, that's just incorrect. Because there's always the before and the after, where I like will do like a satirical bit and then like just like start laughing for like 10 minutes because it's really funny. And like obviously I'm joking. But when people cut that part out and then just look at the satirical bit and don't know it's satirical, yeah, of course it can come across as racist. That's why I think if you're doing something like that's very explicitly not to be taken seriously, like for example a comedy special, or like somehow you implement some sort of warning within the material itself, like that's why that's the kind of thing that I'm shifting over to. You have to, like, another thing in the current political climate is that people love to use like anything they can to assassinate someone's character. So like you just have to be careful nowadays. And the problem with that kind of stuff is like people obviously go to the past for it. So like I said before, I genuinely think the political climate now is like way different, and that people are way more divisive and hateful now, genuinely. But like people like are gonna go like through someone's past to find some shit they said like years ago to like prove that they're always like a terrible person and always will be. But that's just silly. That's just so silly to do. I can probably run through this one. Speed top? Cool. My ramblings are going to be saved. Yeah, for sure, Skeleman. That's why I think it's important to call out that kind of behavior. I really like this little cutscene segment, or credit segment. All I care about really are what people say in the present. That's why I'm really like quick to forgive people and I give people the benefit of the doubt like very often. If someone's saying something to me right now, I'll assume that that's what they mean right now. Like if someone said something that was contradictory like fucking 6 months ago even, like people change. It's important to understand that, you know, that. I gave the possibility for the benefit of the doubt, but that I think the main issue with that whole situation was the interviewer didn't like really do anything. I don't know. Because okay, let's look at that interview. Now you could say it's just innocuous. You could say, oh, whatever, it was a mistake. But let's take that interview at face value. That interview on its own, right? So okay, so if people are gonna pick apart something I say, like ironically, right? And say like, oh man, Sabrina's a racist because they made a racist joke, and then they pick apart the before, they just remove the before and remove the after, right? And just look at that content for itself. So if you're going to look at that content on itself, it's someone in 2018 saying Cosmo rights. You know what I mean? Like that's, maybe that person isn't transphobic, maybe the interviewer isn't transphobic, but that context, that content in and of itself is definitely transphobic. And that's not really deniable. But that doesn't mean they're bad people. And you can analyze, like I did previously, like how people can make that mistake. What made them say that? How come they didn't immediately correct themselves? Which is why, like, if someone does a misgender or a dead name, right? And they immediately say sorry. Like, if you immediately say sorry, like, that's within the content. Like, you immediately recognize that was a mistake, and that's within the content. if someone writes a post and it has that kind of shit in there, like, yeah, you can still apologize afterward. And that's, like, if you do apologize afterward, that's completely acceptable, but, like, that doesn't mean the original content is automatically void of any potential harm that it could have had. It means that I think you should be absolved of any of that blame. So, like, if someone says something that they didn't realize at the time could be considered racist, and then later on they realize, like, say a few hours later, someone's like, hey, that's kind of racist, and they go like, oh, okay, well, I didn't realize that. Thank you for letting me know. Let me, you know, say sorry. Like, that doesn't mean the content is any less racist, but the person should be absolved of the issue, especially if they fully realize that what they said was incorrect. I think this is enough big brain rambling, though. I don't want to blow too many minds with my escalated wisdom and moral superiority complex. So what's next on the schedule? Oh, Spire 3 is next. We need you to enlighten us. Alright, I'll give you this last one before I switch games. How you can change pronouns. Now, this might seem like a bizarre context or idea, but just change the pronouns. Like, it's not hard. Like, think of it this way. Have you ever met someone that's changed their username? Have you ever met someone that's gotten married? Like, when you get married, generally you change your last name, right? Like, does that mean people should always refer to you with your maiden name? No. Does that mean that your maiden name necessarily didn't exist? Well, no, but it's not relevant unless there are very specific contexts. So, like, when it comes to transgender people, their previous gender status and their previous name, irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You can still think it in your head if you want, but it doesn't matter. And the more you understand that, like, you shouldn't be saying those things, because obviously they don't fucking matter, like, less and less that is going to be a fleeting thought in the back of your head. Now, there are sometimes people that will, like, change their gender or username all the time, and it's just, like, hard to keep up. If that's the context, I can sympathize. But when it's like someone transitions and it's one and done, like, it's not, like, there's no relevance in it. But then people go, I only used to watch them when they were dead name, and I don't know anything about the new them, so to me it doesn't matter. I'm just talking about their old self. Well, yeah, but you're dumb. Like, that's not how life works. But if you want tips, my tip is, if you do fuck up, it's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. But if you do fuck up, chances are you're probably going to know you fucked up, and if you know you fucked up, you should immediately apologize. So, like, here's the thing with, like, okay, when it comes to extemporaneous thought, like online chat rooms, speaking, it's hard because, like, there's no filter, generally. There's just no filter whatsoever. So when you're speaking and you fuck up, you should definitely apologize immediately. I would say if you do an immediate apology, that absolves you of any guilt. And one thing that it's important to understand is if you're talking about, like, 10 different people at once, and say, like, a bunch of them are a bunch of different genders, and, like, you accidentally get your pronouns confused and you don't realize it, like, that's no big deal. Like, if you do realize it, you should definitely apologize. But, like, I've seen, like, people, like, pick apart someone accidentally using the wrong pronoun, and it's not like, oh, I accidentally forgot they transitioned. It was just, like, I was talking about, like, 10 different people at the same time, or, you know, that kind of stuff. Don't do that, don't do that. I didn't turn FPS on. But when if you're, like, on a fucking, a forum, if you're on like an image board, like a lot of these, you know, you use green text, so I'm assuming you're talking about image boards. If you're on an image board, if you're on a forum, like, you gotta be thinking, oh shit, nice, I closed down, and you're just in time. Wow, 28:02, 30 minute. Good stuff. But if you have any, like, the more filter you have from when your thought is on the screen versus when you press enter, the less of a real range of excusability you have. Like, direct messaging, chat rooms, you know, there's a reasonable amount of excusability. Speaking extemporaneously, especially speaking quickly, there's definitely a good amount of reasonability for making a mistake. If you're writing out an essay and you constantly misgender them, like, you're an asshole. That's just kind of how it is. Lychee Plant asks in the YouTube chat, what do you think of people wanting others to use them, zer pronouns? Which I've honestly never seen, but if you were in that situation, what would you think? See, this is where you lose a lot of people when it comes to the meme pronouns. I don't think there's any problem with meme pronouns. That's a lot more of a learned behavior, though. And a lot of these meme pronouns don't really even make any sense phonetically. Like, I've seen so many variations, and honestly most of them are memes. Like, I've only seen and like interacted with one person that's used a zer pronoun, and it's very difficult phonetically. Like, oh yeah, that's zers. Like, that's just difficult phonetically, so I can kind of understand where people are coming from. Honestly, I don't really have like a fully in-depth position on it. Like, I respect it and I'll do my best is my position. I don't really, like, who cares, honestly? Like, it can be difficult, so I feel like there's more room for excusability when it phonetically is not as easy to do, and especially if it's not like a native word in English, so it can be an issue, but I don't have any problem with it. Like, when speaking to people with zer pronouns, like I have like a few times, like I didn't not use their pronouns, because that's just, you know, that's cringe. And if that truly makes them comfortable, I don't see what any sort of reasoning would be against that. But like, one thing I hate about the zer, z's pronouns is like they're very rare. Like I said, I've only interacted with like one person ever that has had these pronouns, and like one thing that I fucking hate about this shit is like, you see, like, many transphobes go like, oh, I'm not even gonna bother with your pronouns, you zer, I'm sorry, zer. Like, people come into my chat room and call me zer all the time. Like, no, I'm not a zer, jackass. Like, no. That kind of shit's annoying. Kind of a little tangent, but dumb as hell. Alright, let's play Spyro.